Yuan Ming. So we just have another retreat with Yangtze behind us. Were you able to use the Qifield? Were you able to allow the Qifield to flow into you and into your life and into your social surroundings and into everybody's life? There are changes. You can be assured of that. As we're looking into the pattern, seeking maximum certainty or maximum certainty today. That one you can be sure of. When you use the Qifield of Ren Shui, it's always connected to the wisdom of the universe. And it's always connected to the clarity of Yangtze's consciousness. And it's always connected to all of us Ren Shui practitioners who are one in the hearts, deep inside always. More on the surface, maybe our patterns are also in the way sometimes, but ultimately or fundamentally, we all love each other and we all diligently work on our life. A little side note, because it just happens to be happening today. Today is the 2/3 of our 3-month, 10 days G squats project. So today is the day 25, which we started 2 months ago, and we have decided to go until May 25th. So 2 months are gone, 1 month more to go. And if you happen to participate, then you can just appreciate this for a moment, that you have done G squats for 2 months every day. And there's 1 more month to go. So by now, it has become much more automatic. Of course, after retreat, sometimes the false self and its strength set in a little bit stronger. So maybe there's some resistance to the practice, and maybe you've stopped a few days. No problem. You can just jump back in again and maybe do a few days after when the time has passed. It's all about regular and consistent Yuan Gong practice. That is not so easy. It sounds very easy, but it's not so simple to accomplish, because the patterns of the consciousness, the unhealthy patterns of the consciousness, sometimes really like to interfere. So we do our best. So seeking maximum certainty. is something that is always working on our consciousness in some ways. Let's think about where maybe. I would invite you to unify with the Qifield if you haven't done it already, and allow the one certainty in a way, which sounds a bit like an overgeneralization as well. There's for sure more certainties in life. For example, the laws of the universe are influencing us at all times. We are born, we live, we go into transition, we are born again, we live, we go into transition. Everything changes all the time. And when you do work on the consciousness level and on the Qi level for your body, for your Qi, and for your consciousness, and of course for your Xingling, your heart, then things will change. Sometimes we're not aware of the changes because they either happen on such a deep level of consciousness that we can't be aware of them just yet, or because a particularly strong pattern is acting against it, and we allow that to run an aspect of our life. So it takes a few repetitions or many repetitions to change something. And sometimes many patterns are involved in one aspect of life. So we have to do some work on many patterns, and that also repetitively, maybe. So it might be a while till change is perceivable, till change is tangible, perceptible, I think, instead of perceivable, perceptible, until we are aware from the change or of the change. But often change happens on deep levels of consciousness and deep levels of Qi, where the awareness is not there yet. So that doesn't mean that changes are happening, or the changes are happening far outside in the Qifield, in the Qifield of the universe, maybe, that we are not aware of. So what I hear often in my sessions or talking to people who practice Renshu is, I don't know if I am living a purposeful life. And because they're not teaching, meaning giving workshops maybe, or sessions. But that's the beauty of knowing about Qi and knowing about consciousness, receiving and also transmitting information. It's also the beauty about knowing that all is connected. Or that's the beauty in it, because that means that simply if you do look into your patterns, if you do some Qi work for yourself, a lot or a little, anytime or every time you connect with the Qifield, you are interacting and you are potentially clearing information also for many other people. many other people who live now, people who have lived in the past, or people who will live, preparing the Qifield for after, for future generations, for your next future life. This is very purposeful. And this already has a little bit to do with the unknown, doesn't it? The unknown, meaning, how do we know that? How do we know of any change? We can feel it in the chi changing. We can feel it in our hearts when we hear total reality. We can experience in our state. We can experience it in our state. When you become more and more unified and more calm, and you feel inner peace, you feel the state of unification. You feel in harmony and you feel light and relaxed. And when you feel like this while you are experiencing things or thinking of things or feeling things at the same time, then you do know that you are flowing with the universal laws right now, that you are in alignment with the universal laws, that you are in alignment with Tao. And this way, we actually have proof of truth that we call total reality in Ren rather than truth. Can you see how the pattern of seeking maximum certainty has to do something with wanting proof? That we want proof of changes, proof of the truth. In itself, this pattern is maybe one of the ultimate driving forces in what used to be called spiritual seeking and what we know in Renshu as knowing about the true self, knowing about the state of self, being able to be in its true state, in the state of true nature of a human being. Seeking for that state Or let's call it the other way around. As long as we are not in our true self, or as long as we are not completely our true self, we will probably try to attain maximum certainty. Once being the true self, there is the certainty of trust, very strong as a quality present. And also there is the access to all information within the universe at any given moment. There is this openness to the unknown. There is this openness to the knowing that we don't know everything, that it is impossible to know everything. And at the same time, there is this knowing of what I don't know now, I can attain, I can learn, or I don't need to know. There is at the same time this being relaxed and okay with not knowing. But knowing that if the universe needs me to have this information, needs one to have this information, needs you to have this information, it will be there. It will come your way. So what do we do before someone has attained the true self? Well, we work with this pattern of today, seeking maximum certainty. Let's look into what aspects of life it could be influencing, or in which aspects of life this pattern could be triggered to become very active, driving us to try and feel safer, more secure, to know exactly. Or in other words, to have an absolute yes or an absolute no. To have something for sure. This is basically what this pattern is doing to us. It tries to suggest to us that we are never safe, that we are never secure, because nothing is fixed, everything changes. Nobody knows what's happening tomorrow. And can you see how this drives the economy, the financial world? Like what you call that, a science that is always towards the end on the news, the weather, we call it the weather, meteorology, I think. Why do we even need to predict the weather? Could it be because of this pattern of seeking maximum certainty? Not wanting to spend time in the unknown? And where could that come from? From days where We didn't know if we need to go hunt this week or today, or if we can go hunt next week when we were still hunters and gatherers. So this pattern works very closely related or very closely with our the pattern that we call tormented by loss and gain, which we will look into soon enough, more specifically. When someone never feels secure and never feels safe, never has any certainty, is it possible to feel secure, to feel safe? Is it even possible to be relaxed, to be calm? What does it mean for us in Renshu to be aware of this pattern? Could this pattern be a driving force, an inspiration to learn and study more about the laws of the universe? Yes, sure, because this way we are seeking more certainty. To learn more has to do with this pattern. So the question is, what is the unhealthy aspect of seeking maximum certainty? Seeking certainty is not the unhealthy aspect, because seeking has to do with looking for information, learning, studying, and also the simple fact of wanting to grow and develop further. Seeking maximum certainty is what basically creates the pressure and the tension and makes us lose trust, makes us lose the sense of security and the feeling of being safe. It's what drives us into fixed expectations, wanting to have something a certain way, and to be constantly looking into how to get more certainty. What other areas is this pattern influencing? Is it influencing your health or your thoughts about the state of your health? How about your retirement? Will you have enough then? Can you see that it actually drives us to work a big part of our life, almost to the brink of exhaustion, because of that fear to not have enough later on, when we are too tired and exhausted to work, chances are that since you are studying Renshe, since you are sitting in this web class and listening to this information and feeling this information in your heart and through the Qifield as well, so chances are that you have stopped already with exhausting yourself continuously because of this fear of the unknown of later. That you are spending your days more relaxed, or that you have come to trust the universe will supply you with everything you need, even later on in life. On the other hand, this pattern could be great cause for gratitude, or has, we could call it, deserved big gratitude from us. Yes, it's an unhealthy pattern, but isn't it that pattern that why we look for what is the true self and how can I attain it? So if you do not work with Qi, you do not do the opening and the closing into the universe and into yourself. If you don't practice that and don't strengthen this awareness, and if you don't, become used to that and become very familiar with your connection to the universe, do you think you might feel this connection? So if you wouldn't do that work, there would be a way bigger space that would be the unknown, isn't it? And if you wouldn't do this open and closing, the unification work, and the learning about Qi, would you then be so calm and relaxed about being able, knowing that, okay, when I injure myself, I can pump Qi into myself, I can draw more Qi, and I also know what to do with the information. I know to not attach to unhealthy information, to worries about not healing, or to the fear of maybe not healing, or to the fear of dying from this injury or disease. We are looking for the true self all the time. Many people don't know about it, that they are looking for it. But everybody wants to be relaxed, calm, and natural constantly. We can have that once we are the true self. So Don't we owe a lot of gratitude to this pattern? And still, in order for the true self to absorb the false self, to absorb us, to give up the identity of what we're so used to, everything that is within this body that we are constantly in, your name that is attached to that body. All of this sort of changes and goes away a little bit. So is that a reason for why that pattern might become stronger for a while we are working on digging into the patterns and replacing them one by one or step by step? Because this fear of the unknown doesn't allow us to surrender. Who knows how it will be once we have surrendered and given up our identities, given up the stories in our head. Is it worth it? Take a moment, and if you have not closed your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes, please. And connect with a memory of the deepest state you have ever reached in one of the practices. The deepest state of unification. Can you remember some magical moment in the Qifield, in a retreat, in a web class, in one of your practices, or when you've practiced out in nature and you've been very unified, very calm, and just it could not be better inside of yourself, your state, you just are in inner harmony. Nothing can disturb your state, and you are one with all. Your body has dissolved, you can't feel it. Your awareness is within the Wu-Shin state. Wu-Shin, the 5 heart qualities, the fundamental ones. Have you caught a memory of that? Can you remember how you felt then? This is when we're not so identified with the stories. This is when we're not so identified with the false, these states. This is what it means to be in the true self, just constantly, all the time. Wherever you go, wherever you are, you are one with everything and you are in harmony. So is it worth to surrender? Is it worth it? When we can see that uncertainty gives us this huge space, this room and space and time to actually have infinite possibilities come into our life. Opportunities and possibilities only exist because of uncertainty. If everything would be certain, or almost everything, or many things, can you see how there would be so much less space for positive change, for development? Change is only that difficult because it is manifested through patterns. The automatic something's going on with my English today. It's not coming out very well out of my mouth. The automatic way of how everything runs through this pattern automat over these neural pathways, over the common way, over the way we are used to think about something, the way we are used to feel about something, the way we are used to react to something. All of this is happening through the patterns. And that is automatic. And this is the only thing that takes away the opportunities and the possibilities. Because something is fixed, we could call it because something is certain. So to learn living with certainty, with uncertainty, to learn living with uncertainty is a very big service you can do to yourself, do to your life. It's a big service for the progress of development of your life. Because when there is nothing fixed standing in your way, when everything is uncertain, that's when the beauty can come and can become manifest. Out of nowhere, beautiful things can happen. Out of nowhere, health can happen. Out of nowhere, change can happen. Can you see the influence of another fundamental pattern, the negativity, pessimism, withdrawal, and inactivity pattern? Have you maybe observed this thought of, yes, but also bad things can happen? Well, what if the bad things are good things? What if we need that so-called bad thing for us to allow change and to make changes, to open ourselves and to do something differently than the habitual, the pattern way? So the bad thing becomes a good thing. And there are so many good things happen all the time that we are not aware of. Your heart is beating. Since how many years? Every second. Your lungs are pumping air, and the universe is producing air for us. Sure, this can change, but why would we focus on that? On the stopping of air being given instead of right now I have air, all is good. And this is basically what this pattern does. It makes our moment, the here, the now, where everything is okay, where there's no problem, where we are in harmony and inner peace. It makes this moment into a non-such a moment, into a moment that is without inner peace, without calmness, without relaxation. When we seek certainty, maximum certainty, when we seek for something absolute, we are in tension right away. So when we practice Lingyan later on or right away, you can ask yourself, where does this pattern really influence my life? What aspects in my life? What individual aspects? Where is it flowing in? And what is it affecting? Do I need to further allow it to put me on a string and make me scared of the future, scared of death, scared of maybe scenarios, worst case scenarios? Why am I not seeing the uncertainty as this beautiful space, room, and time in which amazing things can happen? And also, there's another law, the law that things happen and that the law that things change regarding their own laws. Every situation and everything and everyone, every life has their own individual Tao, their individual destiny and law. So things happen. When we can rather focus on being flexible, being like, you know, a piece of wood that is being thrown into a river, and the river carries the piece of wood and it goes everywhere. It just keeps going. And even if it gets stuck on a rock somewhere, it will keep wiggling and it will eventually flow off again. As soon as we're seeking certainty, we will feel stuck. we will be stuck in some fixed thing and things will still happen. But when those things happen and we are aware of this pattern, that we can make ourselves fluid and soft and flexible, that there is so much space and possibilities that we couldn't even dream of. The universe has trillions of possibilities for us in spare or in store, I think you say. So it can provide us then with things that we could never come up with. You need proof, you're saying. Let's see, maybe connect with, for example, birds. Okay, that's funny for me right now. Birds. Have you ever watched documentaries about birds all around the planet? What they do to, make a couple, so to mate, the colors and what they do with their feathers, and the peacock, for example, and the certain dances they make and the sounds they make. Of course, that's not only birds, that's all the creatures. To procreate, we are very creative. And isn't that a manifestation of the universe? Yes, species do extinct, but there's also new species developing and new forms within the species of how we can survive and live. We can adapt and change. And all of this is because of uncertainty. Use this Qifield today. Allow the Qifield to change this for you in your consciousness, in your heart, in your whole being, how you respond to certainty and uncertainty. Allow yourself to embrace uncertainty. Allow yourself to be okay with what is in the moment, with the knowing that there is no need to seek maximum certainty because the universe has your back. When you don't stiffen yourself up, when you are relaxed and open, the universe has your back. It can then shovel all the things you need your way. Of course, we need to take action and be aware of the pattern we worked on last time, laziness and procrastination. Did you have some changes from that in your life? not to be the slave or the hostage to this pattern of seeking maximum certainty only means one thing: to stay positive and to identify with uncertainty as something that can bring you many healthy, beneficial things and situations into life, relationships into life. That relationships can change to the healthier. So let's have a look what Yance tells us about this pattern. We are going to look into the abnormal, unhealthy manifestations first. This pattern refers to the attitude and behavior of seeking an excessive degree of certainty and stability, no change towards current or future situations. He gave us a few examples. The need to feel certain that my partner or spouse will love only me for the rest of my life and will bring me happiness and a strong sense of well-being. Or I need to be certain that the money I invest will bring high returns. Or I will not change my job unless I am 100% sure that the new job is much better. I need to be certain that my financial standing will be healthy and stable forever, and there will be no financial challenges or instability in the future. Or I will not let my children go anywhere unless I'm 100% sure that it is 100% safe. So let's look into the causes of this pattern according to Janssen and some of the related patterns, which include the urge to control will set in if we're seeking maximum certainty all the time. Polarized thinking, fixed expectations, unfounded suspicion, negativity and pessimism, indecisiveness, avoiding and hiding, and tormented by loss and gain. This pattern can disrupt the relaxed, calm, and natural state and cause unhealthy emotions such as uneasiness, nervousness, anxiety, and fear. It can restrict life and reduce the freedom and the choice we have. Life experience can therefore be limited by this pattern. So What can we do? What's the relatively healthier consciousness and behavioral pattern for transformation and replacement? Of course, cultivate trust and openness. The foundation of true openness is full acceptance. It is also important to know that everything in the universe is constantly changing and developing according to its own law. What we can do is to respect the laws and work with change rather than ignore the laws and refuse to change. It is an inherent need on the human nature level to seek basic security and interest. However, when we seek certainty to the extent that the fundamental laws of things are not taken into consideration, it is as though we are hoping things will operate outside their laws. Our expectations are going against the laws. In such cases, not only would our hopes and expectations fail to come true, but we could be frustrated by the repeated experience of things not going as we wish, which could compromise the well-being of ourselves and those around us. As we try very hard to make sure that things will go according to the ideal picture that we imagine, what is really driving us in a deep-seated, what is really driving us is a deep-seated distrust, suspicion, negativity, pessimism, and fear. What could this kind of shin, heart, and consciousness lead to? There is a saying, the more one is afraid of seeing ghosts, the more likely one will see them. In essence, nothing in the universe is absolutely good or bad. The so-called good and bad often coexist like yin and yang, transforming into each other. The important thing is to have a sound view of a thing and a sound way to relate to it. Firstly, we need to cultivate the ability to accept reality with openness, and then we need to transform it. So first, openness to accept, and once we have accepted it, then we can start transforming it. Acceptance is the foundation for balance and harmony. Transformation is necessary for continual growth and should occur in accord with natural development. Anything, no matter how good or bad it may seem, can be turned into a driving force and a resource for learning and growing. If a person does not have problems or challenges, it is highly unlikely she or he will attain realization. So now let's allow our consciousness to go deeper within and to start looking into individual scenarios and situations, your individual life. We're going to practice Ling Yuan, and you can either use the questions or you can simply ask your own questions, formulate your own questions about where am I hindering my life? Where am I limiting my life through the pattern of seeking this maximum certainty? And where am I not allowing uncertainty to be something uplifting and positive and strengthening? Also, maybe look into those ideas you have about your life. Allow yourself to trust that your wildest dreams can become true if your wildest dreams are beneficial for your development and the development of others, the planet, the universe. You may very well trust unconditionally that they can become true. If they are part of your life law. So gently put yourself into a good position or adjust yourself a little bit. Look straight forward. And gently draw your vision back. Put your arms and hands wherever you would like them for the practice. Lift from Bai Hoi and relax even deeper. Lift Hoi Yin up to lower Dantian. Identify with being Qi. You have turned into Qi. And expand out to become one with the universal Qi and wisdom. Draw back, becoming one with the Qifield, and draw it all inwards. Qi and information are flowing in throughout the practice, and you are flowing out. All has become one. Qi and information is flowing freely. Awareness in lower Dantian. Do Dantian breathing. Allow your awareness to flow upwards from lower Dantian to Xinling, your heart consciousness. Connect from your heart with heaven, the universe, and the Qi field, earth, all of nature, and humans, all of humans. They are all teachers with infinite wisdom. Tell yourself, I open my Shin Men to love and trust them unconditionally. With gratitude in my heart, I receive their love and wisdom, and I unify with it. Now surrender My Shen, Yi, and Shin are fully aligned with the light of Tao. With Gong Jing, realization and wisdom are arising. I am one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Your heart is now wide open. Increase your awareness about the unification of your heart and your head space. Shen Yi and Xin Ling are one. And feel the indescribable vitality and creativity to change your life. Tell yourself that you are ready. You are ready to trust that your heart will inquire into the necessary questions for you to move forward. Even if the questions are tough questions, that's fine. The heart inquires into what is necessary. And trust that your Shen, with its infinite potential, will bring you answers. Your Shen has access to all of the information necessary, and it will bring it to you about the pattern of seeking maximum certainty. Recognize it. Become aware and see the manifestations, the causes, and the development of the pattern. See where the validation is of the pattern and how you are still holding on to it. Then ask yourself, what's your intention with this pattern? And see the possible negative effects. And then let your heart ask for replacement information, and you will receive. Allow your Shen Yi and Xin Ling to fly freely and to show you everything you need to see. This is happening in the unification with the Qifield of this webclass, of Renshe, and of the universe and its wisdom. Trust. And you will be free. Be open and accept. Love the information that is coming up and the understanding, no matter what it is, and then love the changes. Be grateful for the changes and the information. And then allow Gong Qing to stabilize and strengthen the new information, the replacement information. Seeking maximum certainty. How is this happening in my life? And what can I replace it with? Gently draw back and finish up the practice. Drawing chi back to your heart and Shen. Or continue your practice silently if you like. You are one with the light of the wisdom of the universe. Yuan Tong, Ling Ming.